Hello, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening, dear. Right. So today we have to start with Unit 3. We finished Unit 2, day 4 content of Unit 2, where we focused on reading and writing, teaching reading and writing skills. And today we need to focus on Unit 3. We have to start Unit 3 and focus on the day 1's content. So when you look at Unit 3, it's about basic grammar, right? So we need to discuss about certain basic grammatical aspects that are found in the English language, right? So before teaching or before discussing about the pedagogical side of grammar, we need to identify the common grammatical aspects that we have to familiarize ourselves with and then move on towards teaching. So in this unit, on day 1, we will be focusing on several basic grammatical aspects. Look at the subtopics that we would be covering today. An introduction to parts of speech, traditional versus modern view. I hope you know what parts of speech is all about. And we are not going to focus on each and every parts of speech, but we will be having a general outlook related to parts of speech. And we move on to identify the 2 different views that are connected to parts of speech. From the traditional point of view, what is viewed or how the traditional grammarians view parts of speech and how the modern grammarians view parts of speech. Then we will be focusing on some of the parts of speech, that is nouns, adjectives, pronouns, and verbs. These are the 4 important parts of speech or word classes that we will be discussing about. Then the different parts of a sentence. And then conjunctions, so they too come under parts of speech, and something about the auxiliary and modal verbs. What are auxiliary verbs and what are modal verbs, and the characteristics or features related to both auxiliary and modal verbs. So this is what we are going to discuss today. Right, look at the slide. You have the parts of speech mentioned over here. So you should remember all the words in the English language can get categorized under different parts of speech. You can categorize the entire words under these parts of speech. Thereby, you have basically how many words or how many parts of speech are there in the language according to this grid? Count and tell me. How many are here? 1, 2, 3. 9, right? So according to this grid that is presented over here, you have 9 parts of speech, right? So I am sure all of you will know what they are. If you have any kind of doubts related to it, just go through it. So these are the parts of speech that are found in the English language. And then you have the functions related to parts of speech, and an example is given. in the last column. Just go through it. Take a few minutes and read up what is given over here first before we move on to the next slide. Right. So by now you should be able to list down or to mention the different parts of speech that are found in the language, right? So you have to be definitely aware of that. Nouns, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, articles, both definite article and indefinite article. Then you have the preposition, conjunction, and interjection. What are these? Give me some examples for interjections. What kind of words fall under this category? What kind of, just read the function and also the example and try to figure out what kind of words come under this category. The example given over here is hooray. In addition to this, what are the other possible words or what are the other possible expressions that can be used to denote interjection? If you are excited, if you are overjoyed, what kind of expressions will you let out? Those come under interjections. Or if you are very sad and experiencing a tragic situation, what kind of expressions will come to your mind? Wow, oh, ouch, right? All those come under interjections, right? So different expressions that people let out. It can be related to a happy situation or it can be related to something painful. All those from a surprise, different kinds of emotions and expressions related to them, not the emotions, actually the expressions related to different kinds of emotions come under interjection. Right, so hooray is one example. In addition to that, you have multiple expressions. Wow, oh, ouch, if somebody tramples your feet, ouch. All those can be cited as examples for interjections. Tell me some more conjunctions quickly. Come out with some more conjunctions that are found in the language.
However, moreover, nonetheless, nevertheless.
Nevertheless, but, since, right? So all those can come under conjunctions. Right, now I'm not going to focus on examples for parts of speech because you should definitely know examples for each of these categories, right? So no point in just wasting our time over there. Now look at the different views that get related to parts of speech. So first and foremost, remember there are two different views related to parts of speech. One is the traditional view, how traditional grammarians viewed parts of speech. That is what is indicated as traditional view. Then you have the modern view. That means how modern grammarians view parts of speech, right? Or what is the term that they are using, the modern grammarians are using to indicate or to relate to parts of speech. So there are differences between the traditional and the modern view. Given over here, these four are the major differences that we can find in relation to the traditional view and the modern view. Traditionally, what is the label or what is the terminology that is used to indicate all these categories of words? It's parts of speech. So traditional grammar views all these different categories of words. The label they use is parts of speech. But when it comes to modern grammar, the term that they use to indicate to these different categories of words are to be word classes. So from the point of view of modern grammar, the same, not the same, there are some other differences as well, but the word classes collectively, the parts of speech or these categories of words collectively, they are identified not as parts of speech, but as word classes. Right? So the terminology differs. That is the first difference that you need to remember. Then you have, from the point of view, there are restricted categories. Certain categories or certain words get restricted only to one particular category. But from the modern point of view, words can get swapped. For example, take the word my. This is my house. From the traditional point of view, my is viewed as a pronoun. It's a personal pronoun. So the modern grammarians are very rigid regarding the parts of speech to which it belongs to. They have identified it as pronoun. But from the modern point of view, my can be identified as a pronoun as well as an adjective based upon the function that it performs in that sentence. It's performing an attributive function. The house belongs to this person. So my is indicating an attributive function. Therefore, from the modern point of view, my can be identified as a pronoun as well as an adjective. So the modern view is not that much rigid. Traditionally, they are very rigid. Traditional grammarians, they did not allow a particular word to fall under two different categories. But here, from the point of view of modern grammarians, it's possible to classify words under different categories. Mainly when it comes to pronouns and adjectives, you have this kind of a complexity existing, not with the other words. Right? So that is the second difference. So traditionally speaking, restricted categories are there. Words are always restricted to one particular category. But Modern view allows the words to get interchanged or to fall under different categories at the same time. From the traditional point of view, there are 8 parts of speech. Traditionally, they had 8 parts of speech. But from the modern grammarian's point of view, you have 9. What is the additional one that has entered into the list? It's the articles. So articles were there already. Articles existed under the 8 parts of speech, under the 8 categories. It was there, but it came under adjectives. It was part of the adjectives. Modern grammarians, they opted to separate it from adjectives and form a separate category. That is how from the modern point of view, you have 9 parts of speech. Both definite and indefinite article is identified as a separate category. Then you have, from the traditional point of view, how do they view the words open class and closed class? All these 8 categories are categorized. In broad terms, they are categorized or they fall under 2 main classes. What are those? One is the open class. Any word which embraces new words or which allow new words to enter into it. For example, nouns. The number of nouns in a sentence, in a language, can get changed over a period of time. They will definitely get changed. Same with verbs, adjectives, adverbs. You don't have a fixed number. They keep on changing. Those kind of words were known to be open class words from the traditional point of view. From the and the other ones, apart from noun, verb, adjective, and adverb, all the other categories, they fall under the closed class. That means no new entrants are allowed when it comes to the closed class. Think of conjunctions. The language has a limited number of conjunctions. No new conjunction from another language or from elsewhere can enter into the language. Prepositions, same. Thereby, they fall under not only conjunctions and prepositions, all the other classes other than these 4, they come under closed class. Right? So the traditional grammarians, they classified these 8 parts under open and closed class. Whereas from the modern point of view, they classified the words, all these 9 parts of speech, under lexical and functional class. These words that basically came under open class in the traditional point of view, they were named as lexical class. Lexical means, vocabulary, something to do with vocabs. Functional means something to do with grammar. So the modern grammarians are classifying all these 9 parts under the term lexical class and functional class. Right? So these are the 4 important differences that you can find between the modern and the traditional point of view of parts of speech. So by now you should be able to write down or mention all the 8 or 9 word classes or parts of speech, and identify the difference that exists between the traditional point of view and the modern point of view in terms of parts of speech. That's very important. Look at this. All what I have explained is given over here. You have 8. I told you, you have 8 from the traditional point of view. So these are the 8. Adjectives are highlighted because from the traditional point of view, articles or determiners, articles, that means words placed in front of a noun, they initially existed under this class. That is why it is being highlighted. So traditionally speaking, you did not have the 9th class. Only the 8 classes were available. This is the new class that got added up to the list from the modern grammarian's point of view. Articles or determiners, you can call them anyway. Then you have the closed class. I told you words that cannot be changed are known to be the closed class. Pronouns, prepositions, conjunctions. Open class, all these lexical words or words related to vocabulary come under open class. Right, so second difference, closed and open class according to the traditional view, and lexical and functional class according to the modern view. Functional class means words related to grammar. Parts of speech focuses on the category of words which are rather rigid or fixed. Parts of speech means you should immediately remember it is referring to the traditional point of view. So they have a very rigid classification, fixed or rigid classification. Analyze the grammatical relationship among words in a sentence and the function they perform in a sentence. But when it comes to the modern point of view, the modern grammarians, they don't have a very fixed or rigid classification, but word classes means modern view. Yeah, the grammarians move on to analyze the relationship among the words in a sentence. Now see, I gave him a present. According to the parts of speech, you have a noun, I. You have a verb, gave is the verb. Then you have the him, pronoun, article, present, noun. Right? So the traditional point of view will view this sentence like this. Each word in this sentence will be classified or categorized like this. From the modern point of view, that means based on the word class, modern point of view always uses the label word classes. From the modern point of view, how are they viewing subject? I is the subject of the sentence. And then you have the predicate. Gave him a present. The entire sentence, the rest of the words fall under the predicate. Further, the predicate is getting divided, right? Gave becomes a verb. Him indirect object, gave what? A present. Therefore, direct object, you have the present. Gave whom? Him. So you have the indirect object. Then a determiner. And then the direct object, or here the direct object is the noun. That is how modern, or from the modern point of view, the sentence will get analyzed based on the subject-predicate relationship. Here, purely based on the category to which each word belongs to. Right? So that is the difference between the modern and the traditional viewpoint. Now look at this. This is his book and not mine. Tell me the parts of speech. Traditionally speaking, how can you classify this sentence from the point of view of the traditional classification, parts of speech? What is this? The first word, what is it? This, that, these, those.
Demonstrative.
Good, demonstrative, right? So these are demonstratives. Then you have is. What kind of a verb is it?
Be verb.
Be verb. Be verb, right? So this, it's an auxiliary. Is auxiliary. This one, his.
Possessive
Pronoun.
pronoun. Possessive pronoun.
Possessive pronoun. Book. Noun. And what is the parts of speech of and?
Conjunction.
Conjunction. Then not.
Negation.
Negation. Negatives. Mine.
Possessive pronoun.
Pronoun. Right? So that is how, from the point of view of traditional grammar, this sentence can be analyzed. Now, look here. When we analyze it from the modern point of view, that means based on the function of word classes, now this his can be identified as what? His book means what kind of a function is this his performing over here? Book is the noun. His is indicating to whom this book belongs to. So what is the function of that? Is it other than possessive pronoun? What other function is it performing? Possessive adjective, right? It's performing the adjectival function of, it indicates the book belongs to that particular person. So it's performing the adjectival function. Right? So based on the modern classification, when it comes to pronouns, they can either function as adjectives or as pronouns. Right? Mostly.
Madam, I have a question. I'm sorry to disturb you. This modern grammatical word class was recently how many years back? Because I think I learned it. The functional. Sorry, the POS way. But
POS is traditional.
yeah, that is how I think I learned. WC is how far is it?
It's after the emergence of modern linguistics. That is somewhere in 52, I think, 56, 52, those period of
Right.
1952 to 56.
Thank you.
Even today, we use the traditional view. But when you look at certain grammar books, you will come across the term word classes. So you should be aware that there is a subtle difference between word classes and parts of speech. Why are certain books using the terminology of word classes and the other books adhere to the traditional parts of speech terminology? And the classification too differs, right? So that is why this particular section is included over here. Okay, now tell me the difference that you can find between parts of speech and word classes, the main differences. How many are there in terms of number?
Parts of speech has 8 and word class has 9, inclusive
9.
of articles.
Right. The additional one is the article. So where did the articles exist during the traditional classification?
Adjectives.
Adjectives. So that is one difference. Tell me some other difference. So basically you have 4. What are the other 3 differences? Think of the terms that are used to differ. Denote.
The terminology differs.
Okay. What is the terminology connected to modern?
The word classes. And the traditional they used as parts of speech.
Parts of speech. And
In traditional point of view, it's open class, whereas in the word class, it says lexical class. And closed class of traditional has been reclassified as functional in modern point.
modern. And also the modern point of view allows the words to fall into 2 different classes or more than 1 class. You can't say 2 different classes. There is a possibility of classifying the same word under more than 1 class when it comes to the modern point of view, based upon the function that the word is performing in a sentence. But here, we don't take into account the function that is performed by the word. They just categorize it under one particular category, and that cannot be changed. That's why we call it a rigid classification. Right. Then you come to the nouns, classification of nouns. So you don't have a standard classification when it comes to nouns. It's classified differently. There are several kinds of nouns. Just tell me some kinds of nouns that are found in English. Collective noun. What are the other nouns?
Proper noun, common noun.
Abstract nouns. Right, look here.
Noun.
Material noun, countable noun, non-countable noun, right? So there are a whole lot of nouns when it comes to English. So it's very difficult to have a standard classification. However, these 8 types of nouns are very heavily used when it comes to grammatical or nouns, grammar related to nouns. These 8 types of nouns can be seen very heavily used in almost 90% of the course books. You will come across these 8 types of nouns, at least a few of these. Even if not all are not going to come, definitely 3 or 4 different types of these nouns will be discussed, right? So you have the proper nouns, common nouns indicating certain common entities, concrete nouns that can be touched and felt, abstract related to qualities, collective names, group names, compound, two nouns coming together, or else you can even have an adjective and a noun, good person, honest man, right? So compound nouns, countable, non-countable nouns. So these are the 8 nouns that we should definitely remember, since they are used very often when it comes to teaching grammar, right? So remember this, nouns are classified based on their different characteristics, and there is no standard classification, making all the possible classifications to be accepted. So different classifications can be accepted, but you better remember these different types of nouns for the purpose of teaching. Think of other possible categories of nouns. In addition to these, think of some more nouns that we come across in the language. Don't you have material nouns? Gold, silver.
Animate, inanimate nouns.
Ah, good. Animate, inanimate. Things that live and things that do not exist.
Yeah.
Just go through this. Proper nouns, common nouns. You know proper nouns, name of people, places. What about common nouns? What do we refer to as common nouns? Give me an example of a common noun. An object or
Pen,
pen, table, chair, right? All those come under common nouns. Count, whatever that can be counted. Books, papers, house, all those count nouns. Mass nouns that cannot be counted. Oil, what else? Sugar, flour, rice, right? So mass nouns. Nouns which fall into both count and mass category. Now there are certain nouns that can, now fish, you even use the plural form, fishes, right? So it can come according to the context in which the noun appears. It can either take the count noun, form of a count noun, or form of a mass noun. So the context needs to be taken into account. Nouns which could be distinguished based on their qualities. Light, paper, right? So these nouns get associated with several adjectives. Basically, the adjectives tend to describe these nouns more than that of the other nouns. Even the other nouns can go with adjectives. But these nouns, they are very much defined by these adjectives. Mass nouns can generally be made countable with participes, right? So you have a partitive to convert it into a countable noun, either an or we can make use of a particular unit like a single, a lot, few, a piece of jewelry, right? So like that, using appellatives, mass nouns can form their singular form, or they can indicate the singular aspect. You have the collective nouns. Give me some more examples for collective nouns. Staff, crowd, audience, like this. Think of some more examples.
Crew,
Crew,
herd,
herd, litter of puppies, clump of trees,
bunch,
bunch, right? So all those come under collective nouns. Divisible means that nouns which can be divided. Indivisible, nouns which cannot be divided, which has to be taken as an entire entity. So these are some other classifications of very rarely now the last three, the concrete abstract we use, divisible, indivisible, human and non-human. They are not that much used very often, like animate, inanimate. That is the classification you have over here, human and non-human. Then you have adjectives, right? So when we tell me something about nouns quickly, whatever that comes to your mind related to nouns, what we discussed, tell me something before we start adjectives. Do we have a standard classification when it comes to nouns? Is there a standard classification?
no.
No. So nouns can get classified in different ways. Mention some different kinds of nouns with examples quickly.
Collective nouns, herd, bunch, like that.
Okay.
Proper nouns, like specific names of a person or a
People.
place, like Kamal, like that. And then common nouns we can use commonly. For example, school, pen, like that.
Common, collective, proper. What are the under the 8? What we looked as 8 types. So 3 you have mentioned. What about the rest of it? The other 5. Try
And
to
then
recall
countable.
and non-countable.
And then abstract nouns.
Abstract nouns and pair it up. Concrete and abstract. Right. Okay, so that is about nouns. You don't have much when it comes to, not much information when it comes to nouns. Only thing you have to remember is those 8 different types of nouns, since they are very widely used. In terms of adjectives, we need to remember these 2 important points. The first one is the different functions that an adjective performs, functions of adjectives. And then in a sentence, where do adjectives occur, or where can adjectives occur? Right, the position of an adjective and the functions of an adjective. Those are the 2 things that we need to remember. Read. Adjectives have two distinctive functions in a sentence. The first one is an attributive function. When an adjective is performing an attributive function, it will be placed right in front of a noun. It won't take any other position. It will take, or it will be placed. It has to be placed right in front of the said noun. See, a blue coat. Coat is the noun. It's attributing the quality of the coat. Thereby, the adjective blue is placed right in front of the noun coat. Historical place. Historical is coming right in front of the noun. Right? So when an adjective is performing the attributive function, it will be located, or it has to get placed in front of the noun. When it is performing a predicative function, it will take the or maybe it mostly comes after a be verb. You know, a be verb, am, is, are, was verb. So the adjective will take the position after a be verb. The coat is blue. He was late. Right? So he was kind and good. Kind and good denotes to the person he. It's attributed towards he. Therefore, the position of the adjective is after the be verb was. Right? So adjectives are capable of performing two distinctive functions. What are they? Attributive and predicative. When they are in the attributive function, when they are performing the attributive, they will be placed in front of the noun. And when they are performing the predicative function, they follow a be verb. In the predicative position, they occur after copulative, that means stative verbs, verbs that indicate states. Mainly seem, be is the be verb, indicates be verb, seem, appear, looks, sound, taste, smell, right? So all these are stative verbs or copulative verbs which indicate the state of a particular situation. He looks happy. Whether he is happy or not is a different question, but he seems to be happy. Outwardly, he seems to be happy. So, seems is a copulative verb. He is happy, that is also predicative function, but there it's coming after a be verb. In addition to the be verb, they can also follow a copulative verb. Copulative verb means verbs that indicate the state of the noun. Right? So those are the important things that you have to remember related to the functions of adjectives, the two functions they perform and where they need to be placed when they are performing these functions. Read. Additional instances where adjectives can occur. In a sentence, where else can adjectives get placed? After verbs indicating change, verbs that indicates change, the bread has become stale. So become is the verb that is indicating the bread has got converted or something has happened to the bread. Right? So some examples are given. These are not stative verbs. These are verbs that indicate that there is some kind of a process taking place in that particular noun. It's the bread is undergoing a particular process like becoming bad. milk has turned bad, right? So adjectives can also come after verbs indicating change. Some adjectives only occur predicatively, so they can't be used in attributive function. So you better remember these adjectives, at least a few. The baby is fast asleep. What is the adjective over here? Is it fast or asleep? Which one is the adjective?
Fast.
Fast, right? So fast is an adjective that can occur only in a sentence. It can occur only predicative. And same with well, right? You try to construct a sentence using a lengthy sentence using well as an adjective. It will be impossible. And fast runner, or maybe fast some kind of a machinery. You try to put it into a sentence. That adjective will always be preceded by a be verb. Otherwise, it won't make a meaningful sentence. The next thing, adjectives. Some adjectives may be better taught as verb phrases. So there are some adjectives that can appear as verb phrases. Be aware, be afraid of, right? So as a phrase, this functions, or it performs the functions of a function of an adjective. Adjectives may be polar or non-polar adjectives, right? Non-polar means that can be graded. Polar adjectives means you can't grade, right? Now, when it comes to dead, dead is a non-gradable. It's a polar adjective, right? So you can't say half dead, quarter dead, like that. So the adjectives can get classified as polar and non-polar adjectives. And you are given some examples. Most adjectives are non-polar. That means they can be graded, but they can be qualified by very, rather, quite, right? So it's rather cold. It's very hot. So the adjectives are gradable. They are non-polar, and they can be, the degree can be qualified using these participles. Polar adjectives include such as dead, alive, masculine, feminine, and all these. So these can't be graded. You can't say half masculine, you can't say half alive, though colloquially it's used, but grammatically it doesn't make any sense. Look at the next point. The order of adjectives. When there are more than two adjectives, actually speaking, more than one adjective found in a sentence, there should be a standard order. Those adjectives should be put in a standard order, right? So first, the determiner should be written, and then comes the intensifier, or maybe the opinion. You have a very clear-cut chart given over in the next slide. Now just look at this. You have the determiner first, then the intensifier, opinion, age, color, material, and all those things. So there is a set order in which adjectives need to be placed when there are more than one adjectives involved in describing a noun. So we can't just use adjectives as we wish. They need to fit into a particular order. So that is also another important aspects related to adjectives that we have to remember. Right, so from the beginning, see, adjectives can indicate, they can appear after verbs indicating change. Certain adjectives can perform only the predicative function. For example, ill, well, and asleep. Fast, no, not asleep, fast. Then you have adjectives indicating or adjectives used as verb phrases, certain verb phrases used as adjectives. And the polar and non-polar classification. And the last one, soon after the order of adjectives, you have possessive pronouns, mine and mine functions as possessive adjectives. So this is what actually we discussed under parts of speech and word classes. The possessive pronouns can also perform the function of possessive adjectives. Look at the examples. My book is on the table. The book on the table is mine. So you have the possessive pronoun and the possessive adjectives, my and mine. Look at the order of adjectives. Down this order because you have a task to be done in the following slide. So if you happen to forget the order, you won't be able to get the answer correct. Therefore, just note down this order in a sheet of paper. It will be helpful for you to complete the task. The determiner will come first and then the opinion of the person. Impression or opinion. Size, age, shape, color, origin or nationality, material, and purpose. Right? So we are not going to have all these 7 or 8 types of adjectives. There will be only a few, maybe 3 or 4. But depending on this order, we need to put them in the correct order. Just go through them. Go through them and make a note of the exact order. Right. So this is the task. Go through these sentences and the options and try to find the correct option that would fit into this blank. Okay, tell me the answer for the first one. Did you find the answer for the first one? My grandmother lives in the dash house on the corner. Which house? Little blue, green and white. Little blue and green and white. Third one, little green, blue and white house. Which one is going to be the correct answer? Go by opinion, size, age, shape. Focus your attention to the punctuation marks as well. All the answers are wrong. Which one is going to be the correct answer for the first one? So you have first the opinion. Little, opinion is not little, actually the size, right? So little corresponds to the size. After that, what should be the next adjective?
Blue.
Blue. Which one? Second one. So blue is found on both the answers. Blue, green and white, or
First
blue
one.
and
Madam,
first. First one, right? So since there are two colors, we need to focus on the first letter. So B comes before G, thereby blue, green and white house. The first option is the correct one. Second one, the store carries an assortment, a collection of what kind of objects? Interesting, new, old and antique objects. New, old, interesting and antique objects. Interesting, old and new and antique objects. Which one is going to be the correct answer?
First one.
First one.
First one, interesting, new, old and antique object, right? So you have the opinion, you have the age, new, old, and then the material, antique. We went for a 2-week cruise on an blank ocean liner. What kind of an ocean liner? Incredible, brand new, huge ocean liner. Incredible, huge, brand new Italian ocean liner. Italian is the nationality or the origin. Italian, incredible, brand new, huge ocean liner.
Second
Which
one.
one?
Second one.
Second one. Incredible, huge, size, then brand new is the age, and then the origin, right? Italian. I bought a pair of new nice red rain boots. Nice new red rain boots. Red nice new rain boots.
Second one.
Second one. First opinion. First should be the opinion nice. Then it should be the age, new, right? So nice, new, after that color, and then rain boots. So this order of adjectives or ordering the adjectives in their prescribed order is very important. We find these kind of activities or when teaching adjectives, this particular topic, subtopic, ordering the adjectives according to the fixed order, coming several times in different grades. This particular topic tends to repeat. Therefore, be very careful with the prescribed order. Then we move on towards pronouns. Tell me, what did we discuss about adjectives? Quickly recall and tell me. In relation to adjectives, what are the topics that we discussed? I don't want a explanation of each topic. Just mention the topic, functions of adjectives, like that.
We discussed the functions of adjectives and where the occurrence of adjectives happens in a sentence.
Okay, what are the two functions?
Attributive function and the predicative function.
Predicative function. Right, so that is the functions. Then where the adjectives will appear when they perform those functions. Where attributive function, when they are performing the attributive functions, what is the
In a-
position?
In an attributive function, it's always before the noun. In a predicative function, it's after the be verb.
Or else
Or else copulative or stative words such as seem,
see.
look, appear,
Right.
sound, taste, smell, and feel.
Right, so there are two possibilities after be verbs or else after copulatives. So we discussed about that as well. What else did we discuss? What are the other possible occurrences of adjectives? Where else can they occur? Or how can they occur in those situations?
Appears as verb phrases. such
There are
as-
certain adjectives, certain verb phrases which perform the adjectival function. Right, so verb phrases, be fond of or be afraid of, they are verb phrases basically, but they are performing the adjectival function. Tell me something about this. Polar and non-polar adjectives, what are they? What is the difference that you can find between a polar adjective and a non-polar adjective? Which ones can be graded?
Non-polar ones can be graded with
Graded.
verbs like very, rather, quite, etc.
Right. Okay. Some other subtopic that you can include under adjectives, what we discussed. One more important topic, subtopic. The order of adjectives, right? So how adjectives need to be ordered when there are more than two, sorry, not more than two, more than one, the order that we need to adhere to. Right, so in that's about adjectives. Then we come to pronouns, right? So these are the three. You don't have much when it comes to pronouns. Nouns and pronouns, very limited content. Classification of pronouns, just like nouns, the different classifications of pronouns and the different points of view related to pronouns, first person, second person, and third person. and the different types of pronouns. Last one. Read. Words that replace a noun in a sentence. So you know pronouns means they are used instead of nouns. So we start with a noun and then we can't be repeating the same noun over and over again. Thereby pronouns are being used. And when it comes to the classification of pronouns, you have the personal pronouns, demonstrative, reflexive pronoun, indefinite, interrogative pronoun, and relative pronoun. Right? So personal pronouns means pronouns that refer to a person, to a particular specific person, or maybe to a group of people. Right now, when it comes to they, it is not referring to a particular person, it is referring to a group of people. So personal pronouns are always related to a set of people or maybe to a particular person. They replace a proper noun. These personal pronouns, they have these following features, the characteristics. They will correspond to 3 points of view. 3 persons, or they can get related to 3 persons, indicating 3 persons, or 3 different points of view. First person, second person, and third person point of view. 3 genders. They will either refer to masculine gender, feminine gender, or else neuter gender. Certain pronouns like, say, doctor, teacher, those nouns can be used. They are considered to be neuter. They can be either used with male or female. So the pronouns have masculine, feminine, and neuter gender. Personal pronouns. They can appear under the subjective case, objective, or possessive case. In a sentence, they will perform, or they can perform, the subjective, appear in the subjective position, or else in the objective or possessive. And they can get related to one of these numbers, reflect singular or plural. Right now, you try to apply these characteristics to one of these or to many of these. Definitely, all of these should fit into this. Look at the numbers based upon the singular plural distinction. You have these pronouns. I, you, we, not we, I, you, he, she, it. Subject, they appear in the subject position, indicating the singular, this thing, first person, right? So all these characteristics are given in this chart. Just go through the chart. Reflexive pronoun, it'll, myself, yourself, the pronouns that come with self, either with self or selves. It indicates the same person. It doesn't indicate another person, it indicates or it refers to the same person. Look at the three persons or the different points of view. First person pronoun. Go through this example. I, what is the function that it is performing? Now, I, my, mine, all these words that are given, they are pronouns. Now you have to mention in terms of these, the characteristics, what they refer to, right? So now when it comes to I, it is a first person subject pronoun. What about this, mine? Describe the pronoun mine. First person, what kind of a pronoun? Is it a subject pronoun or is it, look here,
Independent.
independent possessive? No, it's an independent possessive pronoun. My, again, earlier it was mine, now it's
Dependent.
mine.
Dependent
person,
possessive.
dependent
First
possessive,
person dependent possessive.
possessive pronoun. Then I and my, once again, they are repeated. We, first person, plural,
Subjective, plural, subjective.
subject pronoun. Our,
Plural, independent, plural first person dependent possessive. Our.
plural, this one, plural first person, dependent possessive pronoun.
Possessive.
Us, it gives us plenty of exercise. Plural,
Objective.
first person, plural, objective.
Objective.
Is it dependent or independent? Nothing.
Nothing. It's just objective.
Objective pronoun. First person, plural, objective pronoun. Ours, we have already discussed. Ours,
First person, plural, independent possessive.
dependent possessive pronoun. Independent possessive pronoun. Right, like that. Now look at the second person. Describe this. You, second person. Is it singular or plural?
Singular.
Singular. In this context, it's singular. So second person, singular, subjective pronoun. Yours,
Singular, second person, independent possessive.
independent possessive pronoun. So you have only you and your mostly occurring in the second person point of view. Go to the third person. The initial one, she.
Singular, third person, subjective pronoun.
Subjective pronoun. Hers, this one. It is not only the favorite game of hers, but also that of her family. Hers and then her. Third person, singular,
Independent
Independent
possessive.
possessive.
Possessive. Has.
independent possessive, right? See, third
Possessive.
person, singular, independent possessive. Her,
Third person singular dependent possessive.
dependent possessive. She, we have already described she. They,
Plural, third person, subjective.
Their yard.
Third person plural,
Plural,
dependent possessive.
dependent possessive. Them,
Plural,
Third person plural,
objective.
objective.
objective. So you should be able to describe each pronoun. Then look at the three genders. So we first discussed about, we are focusing on under the characteristics of personal pronoun. The first characteristic is the different points of view, first, second, and third. Then you have the gender distinction. Pronouns that refer to the male or the masculine gender. Among the personal pronouns, pronouns that indicate the masculine gender, feminine gender, and then the neuter ones. They with both masculine, feminine, you can use them. They, them, and theirs. Then the case, the three cases. Subject position in a sentence, they can appear in the subject position, if at all, if they appear in the subject position, they fall under the subjective case. If they appear in the object position of a sentence, it's identified as the objective case. And then the ownership, if they indicate the ownership, possessive case. Then the number indicating singular plural. Pronouns that indicate the singular, that is I, he, it, and all. And then the pronouns that indicate plurality. Then you have the demonstrative pronoun. We looked at different kinds of pronouns. The demonstratives, this, these, to refer to objects that are close by, this, these, singular, plural, which are far away, located far from the speaker. Right? So demonstrative pronouns point to and identify a noun. So their basic function is identification. They contribute in identifying a noun. If that noun is placed closer, it becomes this, these. Either if it is singular, this, and it denotes to a plural entity, these. Then, if not, if they indicate to nouns which are located or placed far away from the speaker, that and those. And you also have such used as a demonstrative pronoun. Reflexive, quickly read. Pronouns that are used when the subject and the object of a sentence refer to the same person or I myself did it, right? So the subject is I, then it's emphasized, I myself. The subject and the object are referring to the same person. See, they bought themselves a car. They, themselves. You, yourselves. So the indicator is either self or selves when it comes to reflexive pronoun. It's very easy to identify. So you have demonstrative pronouns, you have the reflexive pronouns, indefinite pronouns. Read. An indefinite pronoun replaces a noun. it doesn't have a definite subject. That is the punchline or the most important part of it, right? So it will not indicate a definite subject. Anyone can answer this question. It's open. Anybody who wishes to answer can come out with the answer. Tom has kept something here. We haven't or we can't identify. Nothing is permanent, right? So all these are known to be indefinite pronoun. Whatever that does not have or does not refer to a definite subject is that will come under indefinite pronoun, and mostly it ends with either thing or one. Anyone, someone, anything, something, nothing, right? No one, all those, the ending will be mostly one or thing, thing. Either, neither, all these come under indefinite pronouns. Interrogative, basically question forms, WH questions. Used to form questions. They are found in questions mostly as the head word. Head word means the first word. Right? So interrogative pronouns, if you remember the WH question words, they can be corresponded to interrogative pronouns as long as they are useful in formulating questions. Then you have the relative pronouns used to connect ideas. Read. Pronoun used to connect a clause or a phrase to a noun or pronoun. So two different ideas are merged together, or two different clauses are merged together by using a relative pronoun. That, when, where, which, all those fall under the relative pronoun category. So they can either be the interrogative pronoun or the relative pronoun based on the place where they appear in the sentence. If they take the mid position, that means they are mostly functioning as relative pronouns. When they become the head word, they perform the interrogative function. I want to visit the island where my grandma was born. So grandma was born is one idea. Visiting the island is another idea. Both get connected using the relative pronoun where. I have a friend whose cat is annoying. Look at your self-study task. List down the parts of speech, giving examples. How many are you going to write over here? 8 or 9?
9.
Parts of speech?
8.
8, right? If they had asked list down the word classes, you would have written 9. Here it's about parts of speech, traditional view. So traditionally speaking, 8 categories mentioned, all those 8 along with examples, 2 examples for each. How does the traditional view differ from that of the modern view? Right, so just put it in point form. Traditionally, it can you can start from the terminology itself, or maybe the numbers of categories that are included, just one by one. You should have basically 4 differences. indicate those 4. Giving examples. Following nouns, collective nouns. Give examples for the following nouns. Collective nouns are given using these. Now, in addition to these, you just think of some more examples. Divisible, indivisible, concrete, and human and non-human. Discuss the different kinds of pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns, relative pronouns. So there are several pronouns, around 5. At least try to discuss 3. Right? So don't just limit to 1 or 2. Try to discuss at least any of the 3 pronouns, or if possible, you write all the 5. What are the different kinds of pronouns? Tell me. Personal pronouns. What are the other pronouns? These, that, those, what are they?
Demonstrative pronouns.
Demonstrative pronouns. Okay, personal pronouns, demonstrative pronouns. Come on, tell me the rest of it.
Reflexive pronoun.
Reflexive,
Relative.
relative, one more.
Reflexive.
No, reflexive.
Indefinite.
Yeah.
Interrogative.
Interrogative pronouns. Something, anything, nothing. What are they?
Indefinite.
Indefinite pronouns. So 6, there should be 6. That's it. Are you in need of any slide? Nothing. Just recall what we did today.
Excuse me, madam, the first few slides,
First few slides.
yes, what are the parts of speech? Before that, was there any slides?
No, no.
That's the first one.
This one, you mean?
Yes, this one and the second. Yeah, up to the third one. I'll just. Ma'am, the second one, can you please give me the second one? That's all. First
This
and the
one?
second. No, the previous one. Before that?
Topics.
Yes, the topics. Yes.
First slide. Then you have the second.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Right. Quickly tell me, what did we discuss today? The topics that we discussed under parts of speech.
We have discussed nouns, adjectives, and pronouns.
Pronouns. Nouns, adjectives, and pronouns. And before nouns, before we started with the classification of nouns, what did we discuss?
We
Initial.
learned difference
Traditional and
between
modern view
traditional
of,
versus modern wave.
Right.
Modern view of
Traditional view and modern view related to parts of speech or word classes. Right. So that's all for the grammatical aspects related to Unit 3. Under Unit 3, you have several grammatical aspects. So these are the basic things that you need to remember. Other than that, you don't have much. When we meet next Saturday or Friday, you come on Saturday, no? Right. If at all, if I'm meeting you on next Saturday, we'll be dealing with the day 2 content related to grammar, right? So you better
Yes,
complete the self-study task and send it to the institute and be ready to start with the day 2
Madam,
study.
tomorrow we don't have classes.
Tomorrow you have, no? Yes, I have forgotten. Sorry. So tomorrow at 6 p.m. you better log in. I'll be having the classes tomorrow definitely. So you log in and next week we can see. I'll tell you tomorrow whether you'll be having on it. Okay then, good night.
Good night,
No,
ma'am. Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.